hosting Iowa Hawkeyes. They are 10-5, 1-2 in Big Ten play. The quarterback of this offense is center Iverson-Ammeraal. Her head coach Jim Barnes calls her the most talented player he has ever coached in 28 seasons coaching the women's college volleyball game. On the other side for the Washington Huskies, this is a group that is also 1-2 in the Big Ten, but just 6-7 overall. We talked about Kirsten Barton already. They have some impressive pin hitters as well in the form of freshman outside Simona Mateska from Serbia. She already has over 100 kills on the season.
Yeah, and I like Alexa Markley. I think she's a dynamic outside too, so we'll be watching all three of their pins.
Markley was a national champion just last year at Penn State, as a matter of fact. She transferred for her fourth and final season of college volleyball to Seattle. And as Audrey mentioned, her Washington career off to a great start. Underway in the first set. First swing of the match belongs to Sharday Van Zandt, but contact made with the antenna and the point for Washington.
You know, Chris, we featured both of the outsides on each team, and it's going to come down to the outside swings. We talked about hitting percentage and how important that is, and really for both teams, minimizing unforced errors is going to be the key to this one as well.
Quick 2-0 start for Washington at home. They beat Ohio State in 4 sets just last night. The swing there from Simona Mateska. That's Alyssa Worden out of the back row for Iowa. Mateska brings that back to the net. There was a joust. It's on Washington's side. Free ball offered by Barton, but a point for Iowa. Double contact.
Yeah, double contacts, as we probably already know at this point in the season, you can play a double contact on your side of the net. Once you send the ball over, it has to be clean, and that time that third contact going over was a double, so whistle blows.
Looking for our first kill of the match. 3 attack errors for the two teams combined, and that will continue. Attack error on Washington, point Iowa to tie us at 2.
Yeah, you know, in this league, you have to be aggressive, so I love the fact that they're going up swinging hard, but the errors are going to be what we're going to be watching on both sides.
Jim Barnes' Iowa Hawkeyes team has already won as many games this year as they did all of last year. I think it's safe to say that as we have our first challenge of the match, this is Iowa's most talented roster under Jim Barnes in his 4 seasons. We'll go back to the block touch under review.
You know, you don't want to give up your challenge right away, so I think that Washington really felt...
After review, the call is reversed. There's a touch point, Washington, and they will retain their challenge.
So early on in the set, you'd be foolish unless you were absolutely sure that your hitter got a touch off the block.
That was a very quick review. The news passed down to Washington that the point was reversed, so it is 3-1 Huskies here in the first. Both these teams playing tonight on night 2 of a back-to-back. Iowa was on the road in Eugene last night, so the short flight up the coast to Seattle tonight. Hawkeyes lost a heartbreaker in 5 sets to the Ducks. They were up 14-12 in the 5th set and dropped it 19-17. So fortunately, a game the next night, you got to forget about it quick.
You do have to forget about it, and I'll tell you what is looking good here in this first set. Iowa running middle. We talked to Coach Barnes, and he said it's absolutely imperative that we win the middle. That was a back quick that scored for them.
Iverson-Ammeraal with the serve for Iowa, and a quick put away by Kirsten Barton, the junior from Chandler. We talked about her a few moments ago at the start of the show.
Barton does a good job of hitting that perimeter, deep cross court, and she's got a lot of different shots, and she's grown as an outside hitter in this league. You've got to vary your shot, so we'll see. We'll keep track of what she does on that left pin.
16 kills last night in the win against Ohio State, and there's some more action in the middle, Audrey, from a true freshman, Peyton Young.
Yeah, Peyton Young really wasn't on our starting radar, and here she is as a starter, getting that quick out of the middle, so really good job from the freshman to get a point. And again, Barnes wants to run middle, has trust in his young freshman.
Overpass on the serve by Sharday Van Zandt, and Hallie Stepanitis swings line, but Iowa ties us up in the 4th.
Stepanitis taking a big rip at the ball, going down the line, finding success. It's going to be interesting to see her shot selection. Naturally a very good line attacker.
Van Zandt continues to serve for Iowa. And Barker tools the block and landed in bounds anyway. Point Washington.
Well, so far, early in this first set, it's just a slugfest. Not a lot of backcourt defense that we're seeing here. You can see how that ball ricochets off the block really hard to judge that as a back row player and play defense.
Washington setter is Alexis Howery, the sophomore. She serves now for the Huskies. Big swing from Iowa's right side, Carmel Varez. And it gets all the way out of bounds into the corner, tied up at 5.
Well, Varez is a really aggressive right pin attacker for Iowa. And again, just a freshman, so her future is bright for this Hawkeyes team.
She's from Estonia. And the service error there, side out Washington. There's Washington head coach Leslie Gabriel in her 3rd season as the head coach, spent the previous 22 years as an assistant coach for her alma mater, and trying to get Washington to the NCAA tournament for the 2nd year in a row. Here is Ava Jo Berry, the serving sub for Coach Leslie Gabriel. Varez, that was out, but no touch. Point Washington.
We see Varez naturally swinging across court, so we'll see if that trend continues. As a right-handed player, you really need that ball to cross over your body so you can hit line. That time it lands towards her left shoulder. Cross court was her only shot.
Berry serves short again. Milana Moisio, the Iowa libero, offered up the overpass. We're still playing here. Stephanitis went line again, and it worked. Her 2nd kill.
Well, we see Washington serve short to the Iowa Hawkeyes team in zone 2, which is right front. The reason why they do that is to try to eliminate any kind of middle attack. So Coach Barnes talks about establishing middle. Huskies know that that's their bread and butter, so serving short eliminates that attack.
Washington runs through the middle there. Katie Wessels with the kill for the Huskies.
Wessel's a very talented middle attacker. I love her route there, how she goes with the setter and then pushes a little bit away from the setter on her approach, and that allows her to swing into some open space along the net.
Service error, Zoria Hurd, the Washington libero. Hawkeyes down 1 here in the first. Iowa brings in Jamie Marquardt to serve. Marquardt had 8 digs against Oregon just the other night, but the teams exchanged service errors here.
When we talked to both coaches, they recognize the importance of serving tough but serving in. You do not want to give your opponent free points here from serving the ball long.
Alexa Markley with the serve for Washington. Great dig by Hurd. Howery tees up Markley, and that eats up Marquardt in the back row. Point Washington.
I love the approach of Alexa Markley on that attack. She was in the middle and then shifts over to the right side. Again, as blockers, you have to recognize where she is. See that approach, kind of an inside-out approach. Really problematic for the blocking team for Iowa.
Here is Iverson-Ammeraal, who swings long. She is the setter for Iowa, but one of the most offensive setters you will see in the country.
Well, she's got a live arm, and then typically she gets her feet to the ball, so it really allows Iowa not to have to pass perfectly. As long as they pass inside the 10-foot line, she can go up and take a stab at it.
Van Zandt tools the block, and Washington lost the ball in the lights. Point Iowa.
We talked about Van Zandt, what an incredible athlete she is. And again, just to switch from middle to outside, some people would think, well, you're a hitter, you're a hitter. Not true. The approach is so different. The timing is so different. And she has been so good so far for Iowa.
Mateska off the block. Point Washington. Yeah, and Jim Barnes said that he probably wouldn't have pushed the position change with Sharday Van Zandt had she not been overly receptive to the idea. She endorsed it completely.
Yeah, I think as a player, you love getting set a lot, right? And usually outsides get set a lot more than middles. She's undersized too. I think it just matches her physical talents. At 5'11", that would have been a pretty short middle blocker, but on the outside, she's got hops, she's got a live arm, she's going to be really good.
From Houston, Texas, she just picked up her 3rd kill there. Has been all over the college volleyball map, but most recently at the University of Chattanooga. There she is again, off the block. Point Washington, out of bounds. So the Huskies with a 4-point edge here in the first set. Leslie Gabriel looks on. And Washington's middle blocker, Julia Hunt, with the serve. That is a service ace.
Good job placing the serve just to the left of the passer's arms. Take a look at this. The movement of the ball, and again, there's a passer out there. You see number 15 for Iowa, and she bails out as she's going to want to hit that ball and not pass. A little confusion there. You got to talk, call the ball, call it again, commit to it.
Huskies by 5, timeout on the floor. First set, we are underway.
I'm the Modelo recruit.
In this Big Ten Saturday Night Volleyball Showdown, the Iowa Hawkeyes are in town. Washington has never lost in 6 previous meetings to the Hawkeyes. And they're up 14-9 here in the first set with Julia Hunt serving. Iverson-Ammeraal with a great job to keep the offense on track for Iowa, but the ball was clubbed by Kirsten Barton and almost an accidental dig by Iowa. Somehow this point's still alive. And Iowa wins the point. Audrey, explain to me how the heck that happened.
Well, sometimes you're in the right spot, and I don't know if this would be considered the right spot or the wrong spot, but the ball stayed off the ground. Look at her. She's like, it's up, it's up. Yeah, just keep the ball off the ground and somehow fight to win.
Charday Van Zandt, the serve for Iowa, trying to claw back into this first set, but off the touch, Washington wins the point. Wessels in the middle for the Huskies.
A nice strong attack by Wessels there, just going up for a quick. And again, I think she hit the ball, so I think she's got a stronger attack than what we just saw, so we'll keep an eye on her.
Wessels is the only Husky to start every match and play every set this season. And you could also include Zoria Hurd, the libero, who brings that one back all the way to the net, but not over. And liberos are technically not considered starters. Point Iowa.
And I think on that play, you could just see some ball control issues. The dig, kind of sloppy, and then second contact. Great effort to track it down. Got to keep it in the middle of the court and allow the third contact, an easy one to go over the net.
Alana Moisio is the Iowa libero. Great dig there after the serve. Ammeraal sets Varez. Point Washington.
Varez likes that cross-court shot. Again, she just lets that ball go to her left shoulder instead of her right. She faces cross-court, hits cross-court so far in this first set. And so Washington just really being able to play cross-court defense around her.
Varez had a huge night last night against Oregon, a career-high 18 kills. Ava Jo Berry with the serve for Washington. Ammeraal underneath it, tees up Stepanitis. Overpass, and waiting stall. The middle blocker for Iowa was in the net. Point Washington.
Yeah, she's smiling that one off, but boy, that is a missed opportunity to keep this one a little closer. Take a look. She saw that one, she wanted it, and just reached, and unfortunate error on her part.
Ammeraal to the pin. Stepanitis out of bounds. Point Washington.
Stepanitis taking a good approach, taking a big whack at the ball, but going just long on the end line.
8 kills and 7 attack errors for Iowa. They're down 7. We're back in 60 seconds.
Michael and I founded Origin Investments in 2007 because
3 straight for Washington. Ava Jo Berry serving to continue the run for the Huskies. Stepanitis off the Washington block and out of bounds. Point Iowa.
That's a better swing by Stepanitis, just going high off the blocker's hands. You know that she's trying her best to tool. Right now, the story of this first set is the number of hitting errors Iowa has had, so they needed that kill. They've had 7 hitting errors so far, hitting only 0.48 for the match.
Hawkeyes hit 239 last night in the 5-set loss to Oregon. That drops down on Iowa's side. Simona Mateska from the pin for Washington.
Not a bad swing, but that was a controlled block on Iowa's side of the net. So drop-off blocker has to anticipate. Blocker's going to get a good touch. I got to curl under that block and be able to play the first ball.
Hurd serves. from the back row, Worden. Howery sets the right side, and Barkley thumps that one through the Iowa block.
I really think Barkley has been just an amazing player for this Washington team. She played a little bit of the season on the left side. You can see her versatility. I think right side is going to be where she shines for this Washington squad.
Service error occurred, but Barkley with 2 kills tonight, up to 167 on the season. That's already a single-season career high for her. We mentioned the national championship pedigree coming over from Penn State and now getting a chance to really thrive as one of the go-tos in the offense.
Right, and coming from that Penn State program, not only does she bring talent, but she brings a work ethic, a championship mentality. And so she is a great addition to the team, not only because of her skill set, but what she brings mentally and for the culture of the program.
Boy, the Washington block came up big a couple of times there. It just rolls out on Iowa's side. Point Hawkeyes, Van Zandt the point.
So how do you prevent that block from going off your hands and rolling out? It's all about reaching over. You don't ever want that ball to cross the plane of the net. Reaching is the key on blocking.
Heard the bump set up to Mateska, and we're still playing. And Ammeraal, the center, with the kill for Iowa, starting with a fantastic dig.
Well, the dig was great. I didn't know if it was up or not. Let's take a look at this. Clearly up, yes. Second ball goes up in a spot where Ammeraal can just do what she enjoys doing, taking a big swing with that left hand.
And Ammeraal with 87 kills on the season. That's over 1.6 kills per set. You don't usually pay attention to attack numbers for setters, but Ammeraal demands it.
Well, you know, that's the unique talent that she brings, and Coach Barnes says that other teams just have to play defense a little differently because of her. So it's not just your typical jump setter that's going to hold the middle. She is going to take a big swing. So what that means is the left side blocker on the other side of the net has got to get in front of her and actually move all the way to the middle. The problem is if you're going to move that far to the middle, you can run a slide behind that, which opens up all kinds of net because the left side blocker has committed to the setter.
Well, some great volleyball tonight, in the Big Ten after that win on the road, by the way, against a top 25 USC squad. They still get UCLA to close out the trip. Marquardt with the serve for Iowa, trying to keep this first set alive. With the point on Washington there.
Yeah, a bad pass, actually an overpass, and you have to be able to handle balls that come over the net. Take a look at this. Yeah, it just got to keep your eye on the ball, I think was the error on that play.
Ammeraal takes a swing, and there was a lot of open floor space on the other side of the net, her second kill.
Exclamation point on that swing. I think she just loves when there's open space, and look at how Washington is defending against her. They're not. There is nobody on that arm.
You'll see setters dump the ball on second contact, but Ammeraal is an outright swing. Great dig by Hurd. Mateska kept alive by Marquardt in the back row, but no second touch. Point Washington.
Well, that's where you have got to go after that second ball. It was a great up and just stopping dead weight on your feet. You have to run that ball down. Again, that's the name of the game. Do not let the ball drop on your side of the net. So a little more hustle needed by the Hawkeyes.
And Mateska serves now, the freshman from Serbia. 4 kills, no errors in the first set for her. And that was out, but not by much, just off the corner there.
Yeah, that was as close as it gets. And you're happy when your server is that aggressive, and you want her to go back there and have confidence, because she barely missed that one. So next time around, we'll see if she tries to hit that same spot.
Ammeraal uses the tape on that serve, and Barton, beautiful touch on the roll shot.
Well, I feel like Coach Gabriel, the head coach for the Washington Huskies, has scouted and knows that tip, that roll shot in the middle of Iowa's court will score. We've seen about 2 or 3 of those land here in the first set.
Just mopping up some moisture on Iowa's side of the net, just off the 10-foot line. Huskies 2 points away from a first set win. Julia Hunt is serving. She already has an ace in the match. Varez out. Point Washington. And set point coming up.
Rotation 1, Varez is a right side attacker, and this rotation is going to pass on that left side and swing on the left pin. We'll see if they line up the same way. It looks like they've lined up the same way.
Dubs are up inside Alaska Airlines Arena. There's Peyton Young with the swing. Her second kill keeps the set alive.
How about the freshman coming through when you need a big swing? And what I like about Young is she is up early. Take a look at her approach here. Up as the set is going, and then look at that Washington block. Lots of space for Young to hit into. Big gap.
Good serve, Van Zandt. Joust at the net. Ammeraal over to Stepanitis. Markley keeps it alive. Howery sets Barton. Dug by Moisio, the libero. Varez on her customary right side puts it home.
Varez does a good job of handling a not so perfect set. That is a great veteran move by the freshman. Ball set tight, wipe it into the block. Use those hands to your advantage.
Charday Van Zandt. Barton drops it in the donut, and Washington cinches up the first set, 25-19.
Impressive.
So she stays in the Big Ten and gets to now coach at her alma mater. Best of both worlds there. Overpass cleaned up by Julia Hunt. That's how you do it. Washington up 1-0.
Julia Hunt times it perfectly, gets her hand on the ball, and really makes Iowa pay for this overpass. Nice kill by number 2.
Her first of the night, 76th of the season. Middle blocker hitting 290 on the campaign. Varez, a lot of velo coming off that arm. Point Iowa.
Yeah, Varez does a really good job of taking her feet to the ball and just approaching hard. Take a look at this. It wasn't a great first pass, a nice bump set. But you can see how far into the court she is along the net. So gets her feet to the ball, takes a good rip on it.
Alana Moisio with the serve. And Mateska into the net. Point Iowa.
Yeah, ball never crossed the net. Got to be able to reach high. She's a good jumper, so that ball needs to be pushed a little bit higher, and the timing was off for the hitter.
This is the second year in a row head coach Jim Barnes has gone to the transfer portal to find a libero. And this year's libero for Iowa, Alana Moisio with the ace serve, a dandy.
Moisio does a really good job of putting it deep in the corner, but that ball was really in by a lot. So as a passing team, you want to move your feet to the ball, and your teammates need to help you call it in and out.
Last year it was Joy Gallus out of Arizona, transferred in to play libero for Iowa. Moisio is a former Miami Hurricane. On the free ball, Moisio underneath it. Ammeraal over to Stepanitis, and that is out. It's point Washington.
Well, here in the second set, as we analyze Iowa's serve, they're going deep and then they're going short. They're going deep and short, and that just gets the passers out of rhythm, and it has worked so far here in the second.
Markley serves. She serves down the line. Varez is blocked. Wow, that came back on Iowa's side high. Hunt and Mateska up front.
Yeah, Mateska does a good job of lining up, taking a big step inside. Take a look at this. Give up line, block and dig cross court, and that's exactly what they did on that play.
Another serve for Markley, and she picks out Greta Schleicher for the second time. Iowa sticks with it and sides out.
It's a nice middle attack there, really fast, right up the middle. And Barnes, again, he said we have to be able to set middle and get kills, especially off the serve receive. It indicates that our pass is on, and then it opens things up for the outside, so it's a big swing.
Well, Iowa's starting to turn up the service pressure here in the second set. Another ace.
Well, I think sometimes when you're playing on the road in a new arena, it's going to take a while for you to get into rhythm. I really feel like here in the second set, we're seeing what Iowa is capable of doing from that service line.
Alyssa Worden is a fantastic server for the Hawkeyes. She had a couple of service aces last night down the road in Eugene. Big swing by Markley from the back row. Ammeraal wins the joust, but Washington keeps the point alive. Mateska the dump at the net. Hunt dunks it home.
I'm not sure I've ever seen so many balls just hanging at the net, both on serve receive and then just these plays in between. So here you see a two-handed set over and then a free ball that's hanging at the net. Finally, Washington takes control against the point.
Mateska serves. Moisio the dig. Back row, Worden. Dug by Hurd. Back over to Iowa. Amaral tries to throw it in the donut, but Hurd reads it. Markley soaring in out of the back row. Point Dogs.
I think every successful team has a back row attacker that can go in and get points for you, and that's exactly what Markley does there. As a right back player, she's getting that back row attack and swings with a lot of authority.
Mateska serves Moisio again. Stephanitis, dug by Hurd. Howery, and the kill for Kirsten Barton, her sixth.
Barton does a really good job of ripping that ball across the court. We really haven't talked a lot about Howery yet. She's doing a really good job of setting that ball, putting up hittable balls. She's not flashy, she just does her job as a setter. Howery right now really connecting well.
Howery's got 14 assists, and you know, with all due respect to you as a fellow setter like Howery, Audrey, I mean, when the setter is just kind of in the background, you know, diming up the outsides or the middles, that's a good thing, right?
I would think so. You know, I always like when setters have a little bit of a personality out on the floor, but you know, you have to do your job, and your job is this: putting up hittable balls, giving your hitters the best opportunity to score, setting them where there's open space along the net. And I think Howery's doing a really decent job of that. Although that back row attack, that was off on that one set, but in general, she's doing a really nice job.
Howery's counterpart, Claire Amaral, picked up the kill on the previous point, and Barton with another swing off Iowa hands. Washington once again in front.
Great attack there. I think as an outside hitter, you have to be able to hit that shot right there off the blocker's hands consistently in order to be one of the best in the conference.
Hunt serves, an ace. Miscommunication in serve receive for Iowa.
Well, Washington does a good job there of serving in between passers. Let's take a look at this again. And you see that you have to call the ball. Somebody has to commit, and not when the ball has crossed the net, but right out of the server's hand. You have to commit to the ball.
That is Hunt's second ace of the night. Whittingstall ran the slide there for Iowa. Barton looking for a soft spot in the zone, and it works.
That has been the vulnerable spot on Iowa's defense. The tip, the roll shot that goes right over top of the block. There's different defenses you can play. You can play a rotation defense where the right back player is curled up right about at the 10-foot line to prevent those balls from happening, and I haven't seen any adjustments on defense yet.
And I can credit Barton for doing a great job just taking what Iowa gives her, I should say. Amaral to Van Zandt. Dug by Markley in the back row. Howery picks out Barton. She swings power that time.
This is what makes Barton pretty darn special. Able to mix up her shots, tips, hard, roll, everything. She's got it. Take a look at this winner right here.
It's the fourth straight point for Washington, prompting an Iowa timeout. Ball doubleheader rolls on with a top 20 showdown between number 13 Purdue and number 17 USC. It's next on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Big match for both those teams, Audrey. Purdue trying to go 2-0 on their LA trip after winning in 5 against UCLA, and USC trying to bounce back from a loss to Indiana. Hunt with the serve for Washington. We're up inside Alaska Airlines Arena for game 1 of our Saturday night volleyball doubleheader. A kill with authority for Sharday Van Zandt, her first of the second set.
You know, as I look at this Iowa team, the passing is not really great. It's not really bringing the ball up to the top of the net. But nonetheless, Van Zandt is able to just swing and get points. That's so important. You have to be able to hit unassisted sets. So Van Zandt being successful doing that so far tonight.
Kirsten Barton already to 10 kills, 5 in the first, 5 in the second. She has reached double-digit kills in every game she's played this season. She missed one game of Washington's now 14 games. Free ball. Washington sets up shop. Barton just finding everything right now.
Yeah, Barton's been on fire. Look at her go. Cross-court shot. Here you see a nice little roll shot in the middle of the court. And then power right in the middle of the court. So it's hard to defend her, but I will tell you what, the right back player for Iowa, you'd be silly not to adjust and at least don't let the middle tip go. Don't let that score. If she hits down the line, okay, live with that. But the number of tips and roll shots that have scored right now without an adjustment has been problematic for Iowa.
Washington is about to challenge this point.
Washington is challenging whether it was a touch or not.
It was called an attack error by Alexa Markley of Washington.
Washington is challenging a defender touch.
And we await to hear the results. I think I was reading Alexa Markley. She said, I heard it. I heard the touch.
Definitely out. So we know it is, the challenge is the touch at the net. So, or is it off the defense?
Seems more likely she would have heard it at the net as opposed to the back row.
Right.
Remember, just, I think it was about 7 points into the match, Washington challenged a point. What do you see here?
Well, I think I see a finger go back. I mean, let's take a look at this right there. Does that look like a finger bending back to you?
I'm not sure if it's indisputable, Audrey. You know, I'm sure you're right. You've got a very high batting average when it comes to this stuff.
After review, the call will be reversed. Point Washington, and they will retain their challenge.
Clearly.
Well, Washington is down 2 for 2 in challenges. Remember, they challenged very early in the match, and they stayed perfect. That's a good look right there.
Well, I'm kind of impressed by that ponytail whip by Markley. I mean, that thing could hurt should it come down on you. I mean, my goodness. She's be careful.
Bubble ponytails are all the rage right now. That's an ace. Those never go out of style. Right on the back line for the center, Alexis Howard.
Yeah, that is a great serve again. If you can master serving the ball deep where it lands just like this one, boy, you're going to be pretty valuable to your team.
Her 9th ace of the season and 3rd of the match for Washington. Great dig by Mateska. Ammeraal swings, and it's dug by Mateska. Markley. It eats up Moisio. Point Washington.
But when you're defending against a lefty attacker, the setter, Mateska does a really good job of lining up right in the right spot. They're typically not going to hit that left back corner. So take a look at how she just stays in her position in middle back and is able to dig that ball. A great transition swing. And that was an aspect of the game that the Huskies really wanted to get better at, a transition attack and scoring off of that.
Free ball from Van Zandt to Washington. Howery sets the middle and Wessels is stuck. The Iowa block comes up big.
And again, it's the freshman Peyton Young for Iowa doing a really good job of just being balanced, staying home. Look at how she jumps with the middle, takes away space along the net.
Young with 2 kills and now a block. She had 2 blocks last night against Oregon. Over to Markley, goodness gracious. That ball was terminated.
My goodness, and just showing her insane versatility there as a left side attacker. That's what she did for Penn State. She swung left side. But here, you're gonna see again this arm. Wow, watch, hand to ball contact, there's space there. That's impossible to defend.
And the Iowa libero, Milana Moisio, leads the Big Ten in digs. Not even she could get to that one. Over on the right side, that's Markley. Varez blocked. Point Washington.
Well, Markley is having quite the night so far. She is doing it from either pin. We saw a nice swing. Now we're going to see a really good block coming up right here. Take a look at how she reaches up and over. Nicely sealed.
Varez turned away, and Washington running away with the second set, now on a 7-1 run. Hawkeyes need a timeout. Alexa Markley, to your point, Audrey, 6 kills, 4 digs, 2 blocks, and an ace.
Old Trapper Beefs.
10. Iowa and Washington both had late starts, being out on the West Coast. Had them both going on the multi-stream. It was great.
I love it. It's easy to use. I'm telling you, when I come home from work, just want to chill. What do? I watch some volleyball on the app. It's so much fun.
All the action that on Big Ten Network we can't cover for you is on Big Ten Plus. It is a great resource, whatever sport you're a fan of, quite honestly. Back to the action here, and everything firing on all cylinders for Washington. Most recently, their block. That's Katie Wessels.
I love the way Wessels' feet are here, and then her arms are reaching outside of her body. That's a middle that's determined to get a block.
Carmel Varez is denied. Over to Van Zandt, and she puts it home.
Van Zandt coming through for her team. Right now, as a team, not hitting very well. For the match, they're hitting 102 for the set. They are 5 kills, 5 errors, so hitting 0 right now.
And the Huskies on the opposite end of that spectrum, hitting 447 for the match. But a couple straight points now for Iowa after the ace by Van Zandt.
Yeah, Van Zandt just going after Mateska right there as a left back passer. We'll see if that's the target she aims for again.
Van Zandt's a good server. She's got 11 aces on the season. And Mateska hammers that ball.
Really like the approach and the patience. I mean, they're running it fast, but her timing right now is really good. And you can tell the hand-to-ball contact. You only have a good, sharp hand-to-ball contact if your feet get you to the ball at the right time.
Zoria heard the serve. In the middle, Young, kept alive by Barton. And Markley, dug by Schlichter. This is Stepanitis, cross court. And Hurd can't handle it. Point Iowa.
Another tough cross-court shot by Iowa. And typically, you know, if you're a libero, you want to take up some space cross-court. But that time, big point, big swing for Iowa to stay in this second set.
Alana Moisio the serve. Markley, dug by Schlichter. Ammeraal from way off the 10-foot line throws it to Stepanitis, and Iowa gets the point.
Stepanitis doing a good job, not needing a perfect in-tempo set, able to be patient, and again, just wiping the ball off the block, really showing her talent here in the second set, almost 2 swings.
5 kills for the redshirt freshman from Crystal Lake, Illinois, Chicagoland, represented well on this Iowa Hawkeyes roster. Hunt, the push-up by Ammeraal, and the free ball from Stepanitis. Bump set, Hurd, Alexa Markley into the net. Too much touch.
Yeah, you can see where the timing is so critical. She is angry because, you know, that was something that she can control. When the set is higher, you've got to be able to time it. And as a veteran player like Markley, she knows that that was just an error on her part.
Her first of the night. Back row, Barton. That's there every single time.
Yeah. You know, usually we see the hole open from a left side attacker. This time back row attack, which actually you have more time to play the ball. So here you see, read the tip, elbow drops, and somebody has to go hard after the ball. Liberos cannot let the ball drop in their area of the court. I would say take charge of that ball if you're a libero.
Is someone calling out to Barton that that shot is open, or is she reading that herself?
Both. I think you you can look at the defense. Setters often set the ball and then look and tell the hitter what's open. But I think this is clearly a scouting plan by Washington because it is happening repetitively. That tip in the middle of the court has scored for them a number of times here in set 1 and 2.
Barton with 12 kills. Mateska picked up her 6th on the last point. Stepanitis from off the 10-foot line. Howry tight to the net. A slide for Julia Hunt. And Washington has not used that a ton, but it works there.
Right, we talked about for Washington, it was critical that they cleaned up their transition game, and we're seeing great controlled digs, and when you can run a slide, you know that that dig is up in a position where the setter can run it.
Stepanitis dug by Hurd. Off 2 feet for Julia Hunt that time. Back-to-back kills.
Hunt goes from blocking, fast feet off the net, turning and getting up ready to hit. That's critical. You may not get off the net, but you have to turn, face your setter, and call for the ball. Hunt doing that on that play.
All 4 of her kills in the second set for Washington. They have set point. Barton the dig, overpass, tapped over by Whittingstall. She is going to win that point after an illegal contact by Washington. So we play on for at least another point. Alyssa Worden serves. Huskies up big. They take a commanding 2-0 lead in the match, 20.
They're determined, and they just have a look about them this year. They seem virtually unstoppable.
And a big revenge match on Friday against Penn State, who, of course, reversed swept them in the Final Four last year. Washington picks up right where it left off. Katie Wessels in the middle gets us going in the 3rd set.
Yeah, nice hang time, reading the tip and just hanging up there, making sure that they get hands on that tip and just shove it back down on Iowa's side of the net.
Ava Jo Berry, the freshman, serves. She's been serving short all night, and that continues. Sharday Van Zandt. Ball explodes off the block. But Washington able to settle. Mateska denied, and a point for Iowa.
Well, I was so impressed with Washington's defensive get by Howry off the block, really hustled to get it down, or to keep that ball up and then getting it down. Iowa just really being aggressive here in the 3rd set.
Hawkeyes' backs are to the wall. Lost a 5-set heartbreaker to Oregon last night and trying to salvage something of this weekend, but the ball is power tipped down by Wessels, who's got 2 kills in the set.
Again, if you're in middle, you just want to make yourself available. Look at her elevate there, and like you said, that tip in the middle of the court still open. Ball's just being bounced around on Iowa's middle.
Ammeraal sets Peyton Young in the middle. And a point for Iowa off a Washington touch.
Well, if you're Iowa, you have to side out. You have to make sure that you're controlling that first ball contact and spreading things out. We see number 8 in for Iowa. That's Gia McCrew. She's a left side attacker there. Another freshman on the floor.
And Jenna Meitzler in to serve for Iowa. She's a setter. And that lands inside the 10-foot line. Point Simona Mateska.
You know, there is a way to stop that. I would just say one player needs to take charge on defense and just say, I have that ball. I'm going to adjust my starting position. I'm going to cheat up a little bit. I'm going to play that 10-foot line, and I'm going to sweep into the middle of the court so nothing lands. I will do that, but we have not seen that yet, which is kind of a little bit of a head-scratcher right now in terms of an analyst. I mean, I'm thinking, why are you not rotating up under the block?
It's been there all night, and Washington has taken advantage. Markley serves with the Huskies up early in the 3rd. Meitzler running the offense now for Iowa. That knocks the camera askew.
Yeah, I think it's a good move by Barnes. You know, when your hitting percentage is low, you have to change something up. So right now, number 11 for Iowa, Jenna Meitzler is taking control of the setting position.
Meitzler is a sophomore from Barrington, Illinois. Claire Ammeraal was hurt for a significant portion of last season for Iowa with an ankle injury, and so Meitzler got a lot of experience running the offense last year. Hawkeyes trying to snap a 4-0 scoring run. Gia McGrew with the swing. On the slide, Hunt. Hunt again. And it sticks the second time.
Let's take a look at this again. Slide attack goes off the net. Really, that first ball should have been controlled for Iowa. You want to play it with intention, not just touch the ball. Play the ball, take it off the net so that you're able to get a good second contact and maybe swing for the point.
Van Zandt cross court, dubbed by Mateska. Howery back to Mateska. There are two setters on the floor right now for Iowa, both Ammeraal and Meitzler out there. And the point for Markley and Washington.
Well, with two setters on the floor for Iowa, it allows them to run a 6-2, so you have a lefty, Ammeraal, the setter, in the front row, and can actually be more part of the offense. Even if the pass isn't perfect, you can set a system set to your setter on that right pin.
That's another ace for Markley, who is a one-woman wrecking crew at the moment right now for Washington. 7 straight for the Huskies. And they have a commanding lead, not just in this set, but in the match.
Drop whatever you're doing right.
Overseeing this transition to the Big Ten and trying to get the Huskies back to the postseason.
I had the opportunity to chat with Coach Gabriel at Media Days, and very, very kind, sweet woman, but boy, she is a fierce competitor. I remember her in her playing days. Boy, she was a stud in the middle.
Iowa snaps a 7-0 run for Washington out of the timeout.
You know, it's so important when you do call a timeout in desperation to change things up and your team is able to get a good side out. You've got to feel good about that. They responded to whatever you have said in the huddle, which was probably, we've got to serve and pass a lot better. And there you see a nice ace to get to their 4th point here in the 3rd set.
4th ace of the match for Iowa. Van Zandt's got 2 of them, along with 7 kills for the Hawkeyes. Meitzler, the bump set to Ammeraal. Point Washington, and setter to setter for Iowa, but it was out of bounds.
Well, it was a great tip recovery. I've been on Iowa about not being able to play the tip. They did play the tip. It was high. They want this play. They want to be able to pass the ball on transition high enough so that Ammeraal can get her lefty arm swing on the ball.
Iowa is challenging a block touch.
And despite that play, the point went to Washington. So we'll see if they get the point here, as they're thinking that it went off of the block for Washington.
First challenge of the match for Iowa. Washington has challenged twice tonight. They've won them both. Was there a block touch?
All right, I didn't see anything there on that one. Let's take a look here. Still don't see anything.
I agree with you. It looks like this call should stand. In fact, be confirmed. Can't hurt to challenge this if you're Iowa at this point. Here's the call.
After review, the call is confirmed. No touch. Point Washington. Iowa will lose their challenge.
Yeah, it does give Coach Barnes an opportunity to talk to his players. At this point, they've got they're in a desperate situation here.
Yeah, and Iowa, a much better offense through the first 15 games than they were last season. They ended last season hitting sub 200, but their offense has not gotten going against Washington, and the Huskies have been hitting a scorching 412 for the match.
All right, so it was a missed hit by Washington, but the call is that Iowa's block was in the net. And so that was, if this goes Washington's way, just a really missed opportunity by Iowa being in the net on that play. That was really poor timing on Washington's part offensively.
Jim Barnes is going to challenge again.
Well, the play for Washington, it was a back quick.
Iowa is challenging no net fault.
And with that back quick, the timing was way off. The ball actually dropped and the hitter never even got a chance to touch the ball. So if Iowa was in the net, let's take a look at this again. You're going to see this misconnection here.
Quite frankly, it looked like Alexis Howery was in the net for Washington.
Yeah, the net was moving before.
After review, the call will be reversed. The net was on Washington, number 8. Iowa will retain their challenge.
All right, yeah. Let's take a look at this again. The setter comes down. You can see that elbow came down and touched the net. So that was Howery as she jump set. Came down, elbow hit the bottom of the net. That was the touch.
Service error, however, as it flutters long, and Washington with the point. Julia Hunt, really good serving middle blocker for the Huskies. 17 aces on the season. She serves short. Moisio gets underneath it. And Stepanitis puts it down. Great recovery by Iowa.
Moisio, that is a great serve receive for her. Look at this. She moves her feet, and she is just trying to get the ball up, and it gets not only up, but right into the hands of the setter. So that was a key point for Iowa to stay in this third.
Ammeraal serves long. Back-to-back errors behind the service line.
Yeah, you really can't be sloppy when you're down 2 sets, and here you could kind of got a chance of getting close here in the third, so the serving has got to be better.
Just 4 errors for the match for Iowa. Another great pass by Moisio there. Varez off the block, point Iowa.
Varez doing a really good job here. Take a look at her approach. Again, naturally right side attacker on this serve receive pattern. She's on that left pin and just whacks it high off the blocker's hands.
Jamie Marquardt serves. Markley puts it away.
Really impressed with Howery right now, just in her set distribution. You see occasionally she's going to her middles, and then she runs the B with the middle and a quick set over top to Markley. So really nice set distribution by number 8, the setter Howery.
Barry the serve. Ammeraal sets Varez. Great dig in the middle by Howery, doing it all over the map for Washington. And the point secured by Katie Wessels, her 5th.
Well, Coach Gabriel talked about Howery's defense, and she really likes the way she's aggressive and goes after it. That is a great defensive move by the setter. And then just taking care of the ball at the net. So good hustle play by Washington's team.
Charday Van Zant is blocked. Van Zant, another swing. It's done by Barry. Overpass. Ammeraal to Varez. Kept alive by Hurd. It's Mateska. And she puts it in the corner for a Washington point.
Mateska, that is such a great tip. Everything has been landing tip-wise in the middle of the court. As you see a defense coming up, that is the ball that you want to tip deep. Look at where where 13 is, middle of the court, and look at how she places that ball. That is fishing with the defense right there, reeling them in and then doing it long.
Washington nearly with an ace. They hang on to win the point as McKenna Rumpel is stuffed.
Huskies feeling all kinds of good right now. Winning big here in the third, ahead by a lot. Fans are behind them. It's a good night.
It's good to be at home.
I checked Allstate first, saved hundreds on my car insurance. Unfortunately, I didn't check to see if anyone was watching before I stole cotton candy from a child. Checking Allstate first was really smart. Not checking the Jumbotron, not smart. Well, at least I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds. Was it worth it? Yeah.
Introducing the X-Pack from CopperFit, our groundbreaking technology designed for compression support of your lower back and core like you've never experienced before. The X-Pack evenly distributes the support across a broader surface area of your back for relief of lower back aches and pains. An orthopedic design alloy support panel and 4 built-in flexible stabilizers to help improve alignment and promote better posture. Get X-Pack at Amazon.com. CopperFit. Feel the difference.
Follow at B1G Volleyball right now on X, YouTube, and Instagram, and get immediate access to the best highlights, features, and teams you love. Don't wait any longer. Follow at B1G Volleyball on social media right now. There's tons of great content. The content is also very diverse. Personally, I love the highlights from the previous night's matches where you can catch up on the action quickly, but lots of great stuff no matter what your preference. Washington up 16-7 in the third set, going for a sweep against the visiting Iowa Hawkeyes. On the free ball, Howery for Markley bounces off the net and leads to an Iowa point.
Yeah, that takes an unfavorable bounce off the net out of bounds, so Iowa getting their 8th point here in the third.
It's an Iowa team that has played better this season than their performance tonight shows. They won 4 games in the Big Ten last year and certainly have the talent to surpass that total this year. Mateska, dug by Van Zant. Varez is blocked. That is the 8th block for Washington of the match.
Well, Washington really knew where the ball was going to be set. They took out the left side attacker on the tip, and so the only hitting option was the right side. So you can see a beautifully placed block by Washington. When you can eliminate one hitter and focus on just another one, you know, your defense can play around that. Washington displaying how to do it on that play.
Ammeraal sets Young in the middle. Markley dug in the back row by Schleichter. Van Zant swings cross court, but it's wide. Point Washington.
Nice heads-up play there by the libero for Washington. That was pretty close. Great court awareness, knowing to just let that ball go, and it hits wide off the sideline.
Heard the transfer from Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And dunked down by Simona Mateska.
So many balls tonight just hovering at the net, and so if you're able to take the ball and swipe it away from the defense like Mateska does, that's an advantage to your team. Got to be able to control the ball, keep it away from the net so people can, on your side, can get a good swing.
Misconnection between Ammeraal and Van Zant. Point Washington.
Yeah, Iowa trying to change things up offensively instead of setting all the way to the pin, running a 32 to Van Zant, but the timing way off on that swing.
Washington dropped its first 2 games of conference play. A tough road trip. They went to Purdue and Indiana, lost both of those matches to 2 good teams, but are 5 points away from evening their conference record Thanks in part to some home cooking. And now they're 4 points away with Julia Hunt's big swing in the middle.
Well, the Huskies do a good job of controlling the hit off of a nice block. So controlling that attack and then able to transition quickly and get a point out of the middle. And we already talked about Coach Gabriel wanting to see that more from her team, so it was displayed there nicely. I think there might be a challenge as to whether the ball was in or out on the attack.
Iowa is challenging that the ball was out.
Again, Washington had a nice touch off the block, a controlled dig. You always want to pump middle when you can, so ball went right up to the setter. However, she did what she wanted to do. We're going to see if this ball went in or out. Just out of the frame. I just can't see that.
The officials reviewing this. Here comes the call. They have more looks than we do.
After review, the call is confirmed. The ball is in. Point Washington. Iowa will lose their challenge.
And so the call confirmed based on replay review.
Yeah, as a middle attacker, you want to hit angles, right? And so that was pretty darn sharp. I think it was right on the line. So don't blame Iowa for challenging that one. It could have gone their way had it been like 1 inch more to that left side.
And a rare botched offensive series by Washington. They were going to give Iowa a free ball, but it didn't even get open.
You know, okay, in this third set, it's okay. You can get away with making that error. But in this league, you want to be a lot more crisp on that back row attack. So those errors, even though, you know, as a fan, you're like, oh, it's okay, they're up 21-9. Yeah, as a coach, you're like, no, that has to be absolutely perfect. The more we can play to perfection, the better we will be in this league.
What I'm seeing, Audrey, and I would certainly defer to you on this as well, but the back row attack really becoming more and more prevalent in terms of teams' routine offense.
Yeah.
It's not just like a change of pace. I mean, you're thinking about a team like Wisconsin running Mimi Collier out of the back row a ton.
Yeah, it is essential. The more firepower you have, the more you're going to win. And the other thing is it's run so quick that it doesn't really look like a back row attack. It evolves as quickly as front row attackers if you're doing it well. So it's an essential part of the game.
And requires a lot of repetition, but also just pristine timing between setter and that back row attacker. I mean, the good teams make it look easy, but it's not. Alyssa Worden with the kill for Iowa.
Worden coming in and just ripping that ball. Boy, she looks like she is determined to do some good things as she gets her opportunity here on the floor.
She's a good server already with an ace tonight. And a season-high 12 digs last night against Oregon. Mateska puts it away in the back row. Match point, Washington.
Mateska does an incredible job of taking a little heat off the ball and placing it. Take a look at her arm swing here. She turns, goes high with the hand, high line, and scores.
She serves for the match after her 5th game with 10 or more kills this season. Just a freshman. Hunt on the slide is blocked. Stepanitis on the pin makes it 24-11.
Well, that was an overpass by Iowa. They end up being in system, Washington is, and then just taking control of the net, like you said, number 6, Stepanitis.
Peyton Young serves. Hunt in the middle, that is out of bounds. Point Iowa. They reverse the call. Point Washington, and the match is over.